Welcome back to Prague and the PokerStars European Poker Tour. It's final table day in the Czech Republic, playing down to a winner for the last time on the EPT. 4 remain from the 6 who started the day, and it's David Peters who has the chip lead right now with a 90 big blind stack. Martin Suzor, looking to become the first ever Hungarian winner on the tour, has 75 big blinds. Jasper Meyer van Putten from the Netherlands has 30, and the shortest stack of the table is Sergei Petrushevsky from Russia with 26 big blinds. I'm James Hartigan. It's my pleasure to introduce the other commentator, the third member of the EPT Live team, Matt Broughton.
Hello everyone, and I can guarantee you my nose is not as red as it was in that video. It was just a Christmas thing I did for a laugh, honest.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. So more than €250,000 guaranteed now for the Final Four. More than $750,000 for the eventual champ. Matt, you are not an overly sentimental person.
I am not.
You are the embodiment of the word cynic. But is there at least some small part of you that has any sense of occasion about today?
And you?
In a word, James, no, we're just changing the name next year. And that's what I keep saying to people. It depends. If I'm trying to calm people down that are losing their minds, I say, by the way, guys, we're just changing the name. If, however, I want to get my huge EPT nostalgia cape on, no, this clearly does mean something. It just doesn't probably mean as much. The thing is, it's never going to mean as much to me as it does to you, because this has been your life and soul for like such a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
13, right?
But no, it's definitely a big deal.
So we pick up the action at the start of level 31. Blinds are now 80,000, 160,000 with a 20,000 ante. Meyer is folded under the gun.
Can't believe I leave you two alone for one level and you've lost 2 of the players.
You lost one of them on the third hand of the day.
I know. Yeah, that was pretty brutal actually. Quite a tricky spot.
Wow, Petrushevsky jacks in the small blind.
And T-Towel in the background.
That is a shirt.
Confirmation.
Just in case the waxworks weren't enough for you. By the way, thank you for all the positive feedback to the podcast. Queen of Uncourse says, watching James losing it is almost as brilliant as the waxworks themselves. I will never be able to unsee that Sharon Stone in a pink bed.
That was particularly disturbing.
So we imagine this is going to be a raise from Petrushevsky. The chip leader is in the big blind. That's a raise to 480,000. Is it my imagination, or does that seem like a chunky raise?
That does seem incredibly out of kind of the normal flow of standard opening raises.
I know players will often raise a little bit more when it's small to big.
I mean, ordinarily you go 10-8, it's such a look up the flop, defend your big blind, but sometimes David Peters' instincts has been rather eerie.
Well, he elects to call, play the flop in position. Petrushevsky a huge favourite here, and a bigger favourite now, and Peters could get into trouble because he has paired his 10, he has top pair.
So easy to forget that just because there's 4 of you, that you can't still get those big premium hands, and sometimes so busy thinking about all the weird funky starting hands and how they may or may not have semi-connected with flops is, you've got to always remember sometimes the big boys are just out there.
Yeah.
Ironically, back in my day of home games, as soon as somebody opened with some over-the-top amount, you'd go, jacks is it? Because you just know how scared and freaked out everyone is by how best to play jacks. But
so we've got just over $1 million in the middle. One would expect Petrushevsky to continue here. $575,000, so just over half the pot. Once you pay your 10, you can't go folding here. You talk about David Peters' instincts, Matt, but this is a spot where he can't get away from it.
no. And if he improves to some further part of the straight draw, okay, well, that's not going to happen. But yeah, you could see him paying off every single street.
So apologies for the graphics glitch. A reminder that it was a 3 on the board, on the turn rather. The board now reading 10-9-4-3 with 2 spades. Petruszewski, a huge favourite with his overpair, with his jacks.
Kind of wonder if this goes to the river, if a third spade came down and David Peters did something a bit more aggressive. How comfortable Sergei would feel.
All in.
Petruszewski shoves from the small blind. Wow.
Yes. Oh.
This is 3.1 million into 2.2 million. So a huge overbet.
I mean, it's kind of a cliche of the old school, when you think you're ahead, just shut the hand down. And this, I guess, it's such a draw-heavy board. He can't really know how strong David Peters could accidentally consider himself on this board.
And this is where we put David Peters' spidey sense to the test.
Yeah.
The big raise pre from someone who does have the reputation as quite a tight player. Continues flop, gets it in on the turn. You've got to be worried here, at the very least, that your kicker's not good enough. Even if your top pair's no good. And David Peters folds top pair, gets away from it.
My eyes! My eyes!
And Petruszewski chips up to a 32 big blind stack. Jasper Meyer now the low man at the table with 29 bigs. Kristen Mashman of Ideation Station fame says the David Peters wax figure is quite impressive. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that section of the show is over. These are actual people.
There is the trophy that will be lifted by one of these 4 players. The last EPT main event trophy ever.
You've got to tip your hat, Petruszewski. When you think about what we already our opinion of him from the last couple of days, and then you hear Joe talk about his actual bio. This is incredible, and it's great. To be honest, I like it because it's a bit like the moneymaker effect all over again. It just proves that when we kind of do this whole qualify, come to one of these events, play with the best in the world, is that this is the thing of dreams, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, I've been following this player over the last couple of days. We've not had the benefit of the whole cards, but from what we've seen, he is a pretty solid player. And he's put himself in a strong position to make it into the last 4. He's guaranteed nearly 300,000 euros, his biggest ever result.
Yeah, and that went through my head when we watched that hand. I can't remember how far ago it was. We made the call with the ace high on the end. And a little look at his mates, and he's raking his chips in, and I'm thinking my hands would be shaking. And I know I would be all over the place. I still can't help the adrenaline hitting me. So you think he clearly is super comfortable here. Easy to pick on him as the fish out of water, but actually more than holding his own.
Well, Petruszewski has raised the button this time with king-6 of clubs, and David Peters is dominated in the small blind with 6-5 of spades.
I mean, it's horrible. It's almost a horrible thing to say, but I like watching the people I consider to be the best in the world in horrible spots, because it's kind of almost easy to see them maximizing the good spots, but watching them minimizing losses and switching those instincts on when they're actually behind. It's always great to see those guys make those sort of moves.
So David, 3 bets from the small blind, makes it 1.25 million. Ace-8 of clubs. Meyer with the best hand here. But how are you feeling about ace-8 with a 30 big blind stack, facing a 3-bet from the chip leader?
But didn't he had a kind of a king-high hand a little while ago, and he just shoved back over the top of it. Oh, yeah, he's gone all in. Yeah, similar sort of spot.
Meyer finds a great spot to 4-bet jam. He's going to get a fold from Petruszewski, and Peters will follow suit.
Yeah, it felt like a deja vu, actually slightly stronger than the hand he did this with the last time, but great timing.
I understand, by the way, the pause here. You don't want to insta-fold. You don't want everyone to think that you were just 3-betting from the small blind with absolute junk. Give the appearance of a decision before folding.
Yeah. And it is one of those great adverts where he always takes pretty much the same amount of time, whatever's going on, but it's not an excessive amount of time. It's just, okay, fine.
So Maya now playing 40 bigs. Petruszewski drops down to 30 bigs. And it's tight at the top once again. David Peters with 12.3 million. Martin Suzor with 11.8 million.
And at least the David and Martin show has come to a close and everyone's getting involved now. There was a while there where it was feeling a bit silly.
Yeah. Stuart Dawson on Twitter. Hashtag EPT Live, by the way. Just for one more day. Guys, I hear William Kassouf is on the final 2 tables of the high roller. Any chance of a regular update? Stuart, guess where I'm going to send you? PokerStarsBlog.com, because the guys are covering that one. We're focusing on the main event. If we do get the chance to head out to the high roller, we'll take a look. But to be honest, your best bet is to follow the live updates on the PokerStars blog.
And as James said, do come chat to us on hashtag EPT Live. Also, in the Twitch chat, our friend and colleague, Mr. Joe Stapleton, the Stapes, as perhaps you know him, is chatting in there at the moment, answering your questions and deflecting your general abuse.
Button raised from David Peters with 10-7 of diamonds. Maya in the small blind has King Queen.
Cool.
He's going to call. Suzor in the big blind has Jack 5. He folds. We're going heads up to the flop.
Around 6.5 or so.
So Maya out of position.
At the beginning of the hand.
Okay, thanks.
Without the betting lead, but he does have the best hand. Still best after the flop. A couple of backdoors for Peters. A lot of people have been asking over the course of the week, Matt, what we're doing about the hashtag. You will notice that the Twitter account has changed to @PokerStarsTV. In the new year, when we bring you live coverage of the PokerStars Championship in the Bahamas, we'll be using hashtag PokerStarsTV.
Clever. I see what you've done there.
Continuation bet from Peters wins him the pot.
And a couple of people are chatting away with Joe asking about his bounty and whether it will be available. Yes, you've got yourselves about 50 minutes until the last bounty bonus. Come get some.
So David Peters, his best result on the tour was winning the high roller in Malta in season 11. Obviously he's had lots of other big results at other festivals, on other tours. $14 million in live winnings, 19th on the all-time money list. You want to mark the dates in your diaries, by the way, or calendars, if you're an American person.
Don't they have
first?
They have diaries, don't they?
Yeah, but a diary is something that they actually, like, you know, record their personal thoughts and experiences in.
I thought that was a journal. Oh, man, now you've totally blown my mind. Really?
If you're talking about something where you're keeping appointments, they call it a calendar.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. I just was curious for a moment. Please continue.
Anyway, the date you want to make a note of is the 10th of January. I believe it's a Tuesday, and that will be the day we begin our live stream from the Bahamas, our first stream of 2017 from the new PokerStars Championship. King 9 against 10-3. Top pair for Suzor, bottom pair for Petruszewski.
Yeah, you'd imagine with the bottom pair and the backdoor spades, Sergei might stick around for one more street. $175,000 into 400, and here he comes.
$175,000 each. No help for Petruszewski on the turn, and I think a second bet gets the job done here.
I concur. Of course, for Zutso, though, he has. How do you get the best value? Do you slow down and perhaps make it look like you weren't considering yourself ahead on the flop and get some more action out of Sergey, or just shut it down? Shutting it down, it looks. And folding, I would guess.
So Matt, during the first level, we announced the 3 winners of yesterday's Christmas calendar contest. Today is your last chance to play, your last chance to win some prizes. And we're going to announce the winners of this contest tomorrow via @PokerStarsTV on Twitter. So you've got till the end of the day to enter. There's a $215 Monday Million ticket up for grabs, along with 2 satellite tickets worth $22 each. What do you have to do today? Well, we want you to play a real money, cash or Zoom game between those stakes, 5 cents, 10 cents, or $1, $2, and win a hand with any of these holdings. 10 of spades, 10 of hearts, 7 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, or king, queen of spades. 10 of spades, 10 of hearts, pocket 7 to those suits, or king, queen of spades. Take a screenshot, send us the boom link along with a hand ID, hashtag EPT win. We will also tweet the hands that we want you to match today as well. So make sure you're following @PokerStarsTV on Twitter. And remember, when you're entering the contest, guys, please use the hashtag EPT win, not EPT live.
Yeah, and Joe Glenn, you've let yourself down. He says, good, the PCA starts the day before my birthday. No, it doesn't.
We went through this the first level. He's largely trolling now. Just
Right,
don't
well,
give him the attention.
Well, it's made me very angry. I'm trying really hard to reprogram my brain, and people like you are not helping, Joe.
Smitty points out 3 weeks, 1 day to the PokerStars Championship live stream starting.
Oh.
I know, a brief hiatus for Christmas, New Year, not much time to reset. And then we're back again.
Mind you, I think last year was worse. Didn't we all kind of fly out on the 2nd or 3rd of
Yes.
January or something? That was pretty tricky one to get past the rest of the family. You know you're in trouble when you get back from one trip and you're wondering whether there's enough days in the calendar to get your underwear through the washing cycle and back in the suitcase in readiness for the next trip.
So that was hand 30 of the final table. Raise and take it for Petruszewski. Hovering around the 30 big blind mark. The 2 chip leaders sitting on between 75 and 78 bigs.
Couple of people wandering through the Twitch chat asking for confirmation on those suits on the hands for today's Christmas calendar competition. Keep an eye on the Twitter feed. All will be revealed.
Make sure you're following @PokerStarsTV. We're going to get that information out in the next 5 minutes. King 3 suited for Petruszewski on the button.
Looks kind of pretty.
Quick reminder that the action you're watching right now on PokerStars TV happened 45 minutes ago. Matt and I are watching the same delayed video feed that you're seeing, so our commentary is live in your world.
No, stacks behind.
And that's how we're able to
Behind the
interact
greens?
and read your tweets and posts on Twitch.
Ah, okay. That's okay, thank you.
6s for Maya in the big blind.
I'm all in.
Oh, keeps things simple.
Shoving on Petruszewski, all in to call with King 3 ain't gonna happen.
Methinks you're correct, Mr. Hartigan. The thing that's going to be tricky is the fact that Jasper asked for the count. As you know, as Petruszewski gets shorter and shorter, every time he tries to open something up, if someone is just going to shut him down with a shove, I mean, it makes your decision-making process easier, but you're going to just keep running short on chips.
Taking us to hand 32. We're 20 minutes into the level. Four-handed after losing Sam Cohen on the third hand of the day and losing Marius Gierse towards the tail end of the previous level. Petruszewski under the gun here with 7-6. He's picked up the pace a bit this level, but not going to raise with this hand. Round to the blinds, Meyer in the small.
Huh?
Giving Martin Suzor a walk.
So easy. You are.
Rather not Luke. Rather not Luke.
Yes.
Yeah, it might have been 9, so okay. So.
It's like a negative free roll.
Yeah. Next time out, Luke.
So 4 countries still represented at this final table. If David Peters wins EPT Prague, he will break the tie that exists between the UK and the US for most number of EPT champs. Of course, Martin Suzor could make history by becoming the first winner from Hungary.
That would be nice. A raise with a 7-8 suited from David Peters, but a proper tasty four-way hand here, the ace-8 for Jasper Meyer. And on the button, no one will suspect a thing.
Meyer starts the hand with around 40 big blinds. He 3-bets from the button to 1.13 million. Gets a fold from Suzor in the small. Petruszewski in the big has junk. Don't ask for a count, just fold.
He's getting there.
Oh, so tempting, such a pushy hand.
Do you know, I thought that, and I thought, don't say it, everyone will know what I like to go fishing with, but yeah.
Problem is, you're not getting great implied odds because your opponent's not that deep stack.
No.
You're out of position. In this situation, you're dominated, although he's not to note that.
No. No, you've got to be just overly optimistic, stroke, deluded to think that this is a great position. But if you're a great player, then you can turn lots of positions into winning ones.
Go D, Peters. We're going to see a flop.
Good man. I'm surprised, but happy.
Probably not the flop you wanted to see.
No, no, and there is the lesson.
Well, Peters immediately checks, and this is going to go bet fold a healthy percentage of the time.
Yeah.
It's on 960.
Continuation bet of 960,000 gets a fold from David Peters.
50 big blinds for Jasper now. Most definitely leaving Sergey behind.
So as promised, at PokerStars TV has tweeted the hands that we want you to win with in a cash or zoom game today. It's 10 of spades, 10 of hearts, so pocket tens, 10 of spades, 10 of hearts, pocket sevens, 7 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, the 2 red sevens, or king, queen suited in spades.
There you go. Off and away, my friends. Good luck.
Just that guy says, how do you know the players' cards? They have graphics that put them up on our screen and we just read.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Oh, pray silence for the pocket aces.
It's going to be a raise in 2 folds, right?
I hope not. You guys have had all the fun this morning. Come on, let me have something car crash worthy. Petrushevsky with the 8 deuce suited, not likely. Come on the cards. Jack 4 off. Ugh.
Told you.
Man, you nailed it. And everyone's celebrating the win. No idea that the last thing he wanted was to just get that one without any kind of challenge, perhaps.
So where are we at? 3:25 in the afternoon. That means roughly 35 minutes to go until the bounty bonus kicks off.
Yes.
7,000 players near enough are registered so far. If you haven't claimed your ticket, it's free to do so. Poker School Online or your local IntelliPoker site. You can just sign up as a new member for free. Click the link to claim your ticket. Sign up. It's a 6-max Zoom game. A lot of fun to play. $500 guaranteed. There are rebuys for the first hour. And then once it becomes a freeze-out, you can claim a $150 bounty for knocking out Waster, that's Matt Broughton, Joe Stapleton, that's Joe, this is obvious, or J. Hartigan, that's me. So make sure you play with us, and of course later on we'll have the last free roll of the Prague Festival.
It's all happening. Stick around. So this one was limped and checked. Blind on blind, David versus Jasper. A good improvement for Jasper. Middle pair and up and down draw.
200.
200. Sit on that one.
Meyer is chipped up to 50 big blinds. By the way, should point out that Martin Suzor has taken the chip lead from David Peters, but it's really, really close. We're now in a situation where we've got 3 big stacks and 1 shorty. Suzor leads with 77 big blinds. Peters in second with 69 bigs. 51 big blinds for Jasper Meyer. And Petrushevsky, 24 big blinds. Still an hour to play at the 8160 blind level.
€203,800, the last payout. Marius Gerser was the last to leave us. Sam coming before him.
It was a 3 of ours, but maybe it's...
Yeah, and of course everyone is now locked up. A very healthy sum. More than €250,000. To be honest, it's closer to 300,000. 284,550. Next jump, nearly 400K. Then more than 550, with the winner getting more than €750,000, 774,600 euros, plus the final EPT main event trophy.
What a Merry Christmas. Fresh cards.
Poor Martin Suzor looks so lonely.
He does a bit. It feels like he's being interviewed by a panel. Would you say you're rehabilitated? I don't even understand the question.
What skills do you think you could bring to this organisation?
I work well in a team, but also very well on my own.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Well, as CEO, £2 grand. And then the letter of rejection.
Button raise from David Peters with 5 deuce of spades.
I did have a young lad I interviewed once for a role, and at the very end I said to him, "And did you have any questions?" He just went, "When do you want me to start?" I didn't give him the job. I thought, do you know what? We like confidence around here, but I don't like you, young man. Off you go.
Suzor defended his big blind. We've got a Jack-9 flop. Suzor still ahead. A healthy percentage of the time, this will end in a chop.
That's the good thing about these kind of messy flops, is you know that your opponent either has to have a sixth sense or just some incredible connection to ever want to continue with these kind of cards. So a little bit of chip-related pressure can just get the job done pretty easy.
C-bet from Peters. He closes the gap on Suzor. Okay, just that guy. I gave you a facetious answer to your question. Now I'll give you a genuine question. The playing cards have little computer chips on them, and there are scanners under the table. So the players put their cards into a box. The scanner reads the chips in the cards and relays the card information to the graphics system.
There you are. Which also answers another question we get quite a lot, which is why don't we use the automatic shufflers? Because the cards are just infinitesimally thicker. They tend to get chewed up and spat out by the machines. Technology working both with you and against you. But we're mostly happy. David is out, round to Jasper on the button, 8-7 off.
Whenever I hear the name Jasper, I always remember those old Tom and Jerry cartoons. Jasper!
Who was Jasper?
That was Tom's name. Even though the cartoon was called Tom and Jerry, for some reason the cat was called Jasper.
Jasper.
Maya has raised to 380,000 with 8-7. Petruszewski with king deuce in the big blind.
I mean, there are good times to defend, and then there are bad times.
Well, that takes us to hand number 38.
Conversation going on. How do you define the most successful EPT player? Is it the most number of cashes, the biggest amount of cash taken home, the most appearances? That'll be something for the stats monkeys to pore over for decades to come.
It's also tough to establish who's won the most money, because of course the statistics don't keep track of buy-ins. Jasper Meyer has queens under the gun.
Life is good.
Raises it to 400,000. Chip leader Martin Suzor. King Jack on the button.
Another quality four-handed hand.
Suzor 3 bets here with King Jack. Petruszewski with a suited ace in the small blind.
And that will be the best hand he has seen in a fair while too.
I don't know, I know they're four-handed, but facing a 3 bet.
Yeah. That is a lot of action for some much bigger stacks. Yeah, had it been a raise and a...
Oh,
he's
my
gone for
word,
it.
he has shoved.
Oh.
He has moved all in.
I was about to say if it had been a raise and a call, you could understand it. The raise and the re-raise, it could work out well for him, but...
And I would imagine we'll get the reshove from Maya here. Queen's a very strong hand with just 4 players.
It's 2,750.
Sorry?
2,750.
25 big blind shove.
And of course, Jasper's attention just crosses over to Martin. Still got to think about him in this hand.
I'm on.
The reshove from Maya, an easy fold for Suzor. And here we go, Petrashevsky at risk and behind.
Kyle.
You said it. Yes.
And again.
Maya, a 2-1 favorite to eliminate the Russian. He's putting on his jacket. That trick worked from before.
5 cards to come to spoil things.
The Russians want an ace or a whole bunch of clubs. Only the one club. 3 immediate outs for Petrashevsky. And it's all over on the turn with Maya making a straight. And Petrashevsky is eliminated in 4th place, cashing for €284,550.
See, I'm glad they didn't have to split that pot, or you would have felt dreadful.
Thank you.
There was still a split opportunity with the river to come.
Yes.
Unlikely, but the Queen would have done it to you.
Lekker floppy ook.
He knew it was over. He knew he was drawing thin. Even the jacket and the bag couldn't help him this time. Well, that takes us down to 3 players, and Jasper Maya's just taken the chip lead. 3 massive stacks, 13.4 million, 11.3 million, 10.8 million. So Maya leads with 84 big blinds, 71 bigs for Peters, 67 for Suzor.
Just to be clear, I guess you don't want to talk deals, right?
We can talk.
Oh, we can?
Okay. Yeah, we can talk.
And the final 3 players, who are reasonably even in chips, have decided that they want to talk a potential deal.
Yeah.
So we need to pause the clock, and we need to get tournament director Thomas Lamash to the TV table.
Can we wait, please?
Are we waiting?
Yeah.
Is there a floor?
Oh, there's Mario.
Stop the
He's
clock.
busy with the payout, I guess.
Come here. Can we pause the clock? Yeah.
The clock has now been paused, and it will be reset. The players won't lose any time. And obviously we need to activate Thomas Lamash, who is in charge of every single event running here in Prague. And we'll bring him to the final table, and we will look at how these guys could potentially alter the payouts. based on their respective chip stacks.
Ez egyesnek olyan 10-11-12.
And in case you're new to this, even if they were to agree a deal,
Több mint 11.
please remember that they would still play for a percentage of the remaining prize money, and they would play for the trophy as well. So Mario, who has been supervising the main event for the last few days, is checking the stacks of the final 3 players. By the way, Eric Dennis confirms that with 3 left, David Peters has taken the GPI 2016 Player of the Year lead from Fedor Holtz in the final major tournament of the year.
13, 13, 4, 13, 5.
So whatever happens
65.
going forward, huge congratulations to David Peters.
5, 6, 5. Yeah.
Ridiculous, ridiculous success.
42.
Can I,
10-7.
Oh,
we have one
here comes Colin and all the other micro-stakes grinders. No deals, roll the dice, play the game.
3 behind, 9 plus 2. Yeah, you can leave it there. So
We've got
9,
3
10.
incredibly accomplished players with very similar stacks.
Yeah.
As the blinds get bigger, the variance factor will increase. Understandably, they may want to take some of the swings out of it and just flatten the payouts. They would still be playing
1 second.
for a significant amount of prize money and the trophy.
8, 9.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to do the whole, well, they won't take it as seriously, will they? Do you remember how we started this week of coverage? Do you remember how long that heads-up went for? Over 7,000 euros. People want to win. And if ever there was a time to make sure you took home that trophy, it's here, the last ever main event of an EPT.
Also important to point out that just because they're discussing a deal, just because they're looking at the numbers, doesn't mean that a deal will actually be reached. How many times have we seen players look at numbers, argue about ICM versus chip chop, and then after 20, 30 minutes of discussing it, say, play on?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to look at the numbers, but you don't have to live by them.
You get 365, right? No?
Again, 10, 10, 5, 10, 6. Let's put it like this. This is 10, 10, 5, 10, 6, 11, yeah?
Yeah.
11, 3.
Well, we will confirm the stacks of the remaining 3 players and how they've changed since the start of the day.
Wow.
And what a level for Jasper Meyer, just bided his time. Added nearly 10 million chips. Obviously, Peters and Souza are both up on the day, but it's Meyer who's currently the biggest stack.
And funny that he didn't, you know, he started this whole conversation about the deal with, I don't suppose you guys are going to want to discuss the deal. I'm like, yeah, no, we'll talk about it. So he, if ever there's a time to act, it's right now where he's got that chip lead, that huge improvement.
He's going to sit here.